We're good.
Are we going?
Yep.
We're live.
Yep.
And we are live. So we're back once again. Keeton's. I'm using this as my laser pointer. Keeton's with an S in the kitchen. I've got the shirt on, so you know we're back live. Sarah's excited. I'm excited. I'm going to use this knife right here because it actually says Keeton in the kitchen. So you know it's official.
That is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. So I'm glad you joined us. Episode 4, it's hard to believe we're 4 weeks into this COVID-19 quarantine stimulus cooking program. It's going really good. Everybody seems to be liking it. There's a few laughs here and there. We're learning a few good things. Hopefully we're making some tasty food. So tonight we're going to do lasagna. Now, this we call our deconstructed lasagna because it's a little bit easier to make. In the past, when I was doing cooking classes, Sarah will tell you too from her days of cooking, a lot of people don't make lasagna because it's time consuming, it takes a long time to cook. Everyone loves it, but everyone complains about it. So we're going to show you tonight how we can throw this sucker together. We can bring it out less than an hour total, if I don't talk too much. And it's going to be fantastic. Now we call it deconstructed because we're not necessarily using lasagna noodles. We're going to use whatever pasta we have. You can use, like I put in the description, you can use the thin spaghetti, you can use regular spaghetti. I think they clump up a little bit too much for this, so I'd rather use a penne, a rotini, something along that lines, but which is what we've got. We've got some rotini over here we're going to make. We actually have about a box and a half because we're making sort of an extra big batch. I put on there a box. That's all you need for this. So we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn our oven on 350. We want that to go ahead and start preheating because this is going to come together pretty quick and we want to be able to pop it in when we're done. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our water boiling. Now, in order to shorten this down a little bit, Sarah went ahead and turned on our water. So I'm going to bring the camera over there in just a second and show how we're going to get all this going. We, of course, use gluten-free pasta, so it takes a little bit of difference. I am going to show real quick. I don't know if anybody can see this. These are like skinny jeans.
Oh, Lord.
Sarah said they look good. So last week I had the shirt, but I didn't have the skinny jeans. You can find these in the husky section. These are the skinny jeans for people who can stand to lose a few pounds.
Skinny jeans, husky size.
They're not really super tight, but they're tighter. So these are my skinny jeans. I thought this would bring a little extra element to the show when everybody goes, whoa, he's in skinny jeans.
Yeah.
He's not playing them. So anyway, she's going to get the pasta going, and I'm going to go and show it.
Wait for it to boil, baby. We should probably.
We should just sit here with this camera. Oh, you never lock this thing down. Oh, and then it jacks everything up. We should just sit here with this camera and watch this water boil.
Yeah, there you go.
So, anyway, to do this pasta, Sarah adds some stuff to this water.
Yes, this is true. So, gluten-free pasta, once again, I'm going to add salt and a little bit of oil. Gluten-free pasta sticks a little bit more than regular pasta. If I was doing regular pasta, I would just do the salt and not the oil. The other thing about the pasta tonight is that, okay, so when you're making lasagna, a lot of lasagna noodles come no boil, so you can just bake them. We're going to boil this pasta because this isn't the no boil type of pasta. We're going to boil it, but we're just going to parboil it, which means we're not going to boil it for very long. You would boil it like normally 7-8 minutes to make it al dente.
Al dente, easy for you to say.
But we're not even going to cook it that long tonight. Probably like 3 or 4 minutes. And then we'll run it under some cold water to stop the cooking process. So it won't turn to mush in our deconstructed lasagna.
So then she's going to turn on the skillet. And we're going to go ahead and throw in the Italian sausage. Now we had a couple of pounds, a couple of packs. Those might not actually be a full pound. It's 2 packs of Italian sausage. Okay, so we have one hot and one regular. We're going to go ahead and throw those in a medium-high skillet. And this is the bulk. If you just have the links, take them out of the casings, works just as well. If you have ground beef, works just as well. So just throw in whatever you have.
You were going to cut up some onion and
Yeah,
peppers.
we're going to do that. I was just showing this real quick, so I'm going to take this back over here. I'm going to set her down, turn her around. So just to prove that this is a low budget, we have this onion, and this is actually just a regular onion, but it's set around here. We go through onions and garlic like no one's business.
That one has a hairdo.
And so anyway, it's crazy because this one's actually set around here, and it got lost in the shuffle a little bit, so we pulled it out tonight. We actually have green onions and regular onions.
Very good.
So we're going to cut this up. Now, we don't want, in this lasagna, or maybe in any other lasagna that we ever make, the onions to be the star of the show. So it does behoove us to really cut this onion up fine. So I'm going to show you one way of doing that. We've talked in the past about different ways of cutting up vegetables and cutting up different things. This onion is really in bad shape. He's all kind of shriveled up. So what I'm going to do
Afford a new onion?
low budget coronavirus. So what we've got is, you may want to hold this over there for just a second. What I'm going to do is to make sure I get this really fine. There's a couple of different things that I could do. One is I could take this and I could simply hold it, and I could really go down through here, taking my time to make sure that these pieces are really small. And then of course I would just come back here, I would go across them, and then I would end up with these small pieces. The other thing that I was going to show you that we can do, we can take one end or the other of this, and we can cut down through here, leaving that end attached. Woo. It didn't really work so well. You kind of got to hold it together and sort of cut that into different pieces. That didn't really work at all. That onion's crap. That's not me. That's a And then when you're holding it, then you can just come in here and it stays attached, so you're not having to try and hold all those slices together. Now, as these onions get older, which this onion's probably 3-4 years old at this point, this is basically like a toddler onion right now. They become soft and they become harder to cut. So be careful when you're cutting these. And make sure your knife's sharp. Basically what you want to do is you want to come down through there, leave that one end attached, and slice this like so, all the way around. So when you look at it, basically like this. Can you see that?
Yep.
But it's still attached to that end. That way you're not holding it. So when you come through, you just simply cut that into pieces. And you end up with nice small pieces on there. I'm chucking the rest of that. I've had all I can take of that in. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the skillet right now with the meat. We don't really necessarily need to see that because we'll go over and look at that in just a second. I'll drop that onion in there. And then I have these little peppers. We want to drop those in there as well. And same thing on these. Just cut these up really nice and small. A lot of people don't realize that Keeton's in the Kitchen is an international show. We are broadcast to Britain via Steve Daly, our friend, and Brazil via Michael Valella. So we're internationally known.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
I know, just from the hills of Kentucky to worldwide.
So,
Stardom.
Shawn loves gadgetry. Kitchen Gadgets is his middle name. I will say, if you do not have one of these, what do you call this thing?
Meat masher.
A meat masher. This is a must buy when you're doing anything ground beef.
Look at this. I'm looking at you and slicing.
That's talent, honey. Yeah, so this is worth the money right here.
Alright, so I'm going to put that in there. We've got our peppers now in with our meat and our onions. Sarah's masterfully working the meat smasher. Our water is boiling. We went ahead and started that, so you all might be a little bit behind on that. But you're actually going to see.
You want to bring over the camera so they can see the meat masher
Yep.
and craft.
And it's all of its gloriousness. So we want this to get really small. This is never going to lay right in your pan if you've got really big chunks of meat. So whether you're using a wooden spoon, a meat masher, or whatever you have, you need to knock this down into as small of pieces as you can. Otherwise, this gets all lumpy in your pan when you're trying to make these layers, and it ends up real uneven, and then it doesn't cook right. So what you kind of want to do is you've got your onions and your meat and your peppers in there, but you kind of want to just make sure that you're getting this in as small of pieces as possible, and that takes a little bit of just working with it. Chop, 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 chop.
Once again, we've got this really small pan.
Yeah, we're going to have to upgrade our skillet selection at some point in
It's
time.
a nice pan, but it's just small.
Right. That's pretty expert work there along the edge of that skillet too, by the way.
That was good, wasn't it?
It was really good. I was really happy with that.
All right, our water is boiling.
Our water is boiling, so we're going to throw in our pasta. Now, we're throwing our pasta in. What time does that microwave stay? A lot of times they don't push reset on the microwave, and I think the time is like 0.12, 0.25.
16 seconds.
16 seconds is the time. So, actually, right now, what is it?
It is 6:11.
Okay, 6:11. We're going to show you how quick this pasta comes together. So make sure if you just tuned in that you go ahead and start your oven on 350.
We're using a box and a half.
Yeah, about a box and a half. We've got a little bit extra. If all you've got's a box, don't worry about it. That's fine. Roughly a box and a half. At 6:11, we threw that in.
Now I'm going to stir it because I don't want it to stick together.
Now, while that's going on and while this meat is going in this skillet, I'm going to show you something else that we can be doing that shaves off a little bit of time off of this as well. So what I have here is, someone calls for black olives and banana peppers. So anytime you're cooking, whatever it is, lasagna, meat, whatever, you try and get the most flavor you can get out of the amount of time that you're spending on it. So if you're going to spend 3 hours, you want to get 3 hours of flavor out of it. This is going to be a half-hour recipe, but that doesn't mean we throw our flavor out. We're going to try and get the maximum amount of flavor we can in the amount of time we're doing this. So what the other big mistake with lasagna is, first of all, people don't plan for enough time. The second thing with lasagna that happens a lot of times is they add too many wet ingredients. So by the time it gets done and you start serving, it's really watery.
Yes.
It's coming out and there's just liquid falling everywhere and everything. So make sure you're draining all of your ingredients. So here's a little trick. Take your black olives, you got a bowl, and a paper towel. Whew, boy, that totally escaped me right there. Yeah. So you can drain these out. You can hold this over the sink, but what you really want is for these to drain really well. So put them into a paper towel, kind of seal the top a little bit. Pour that out. I'm going to get another paper towel. These things are trading like gold right now, I think, on the COVID-19 quarantine market. So if you don't want to use these, you can do the old-fashioned way.
We've got a 3-year-old onion, and we're just blowing through paper towels.
I know. Yeah, how's that work? So we put the paper towel over our bowl. Let me get a fork so we can get some of these out. These are just mild banana peppers. If you're feeling real crazy, use some jalapenos. Any kind of pickled pepper works. You can do the cherry peppers as well. It just adds a nice little bit of acidity to this. It's going to be about a cup, give or take, maybe half a jar or something like that. But the whole key is we want these really well drained. And so we're going to take this, we make these nice little sachets. How do you like how I work sachets into this?
That was good.
Thank you.
Good.
So we've got these, we just wrap them up and we kind of let those drain. We've got our olives here and our peppers here. That way you don't get liquid everywhere. Our meat's basically just about done. Our pasta we put in at 6:11.
6:14.
It's 6:14 right now, so you've had 3 minutes on that.
I think I'm going to give it another minute.
Okay, so while she's giving that another minute, I'm going to take this fork, which is oddly enough the same fork that I used in the peppers. So we've got ricotta cheese. Now, anybody who cooks a lot knows ricotta cheese is extremely thick. So there's basically your ricotta. So I'm going to show you a little trick here. You take your Ziploc bag, put your ricotta, we're going to have, as be a cup and a half, something like that. You put your ricotta in the Ziploc bag. We can bring our pans over and spray them because we're getting ready to put this together.
Okay.
We actually have 2 pans. It's always best when you're making lasagna to have an extra pan around. Unless you're going to write all this down, which during COVID-19 maybe you can because you have plenty of time on your hands. I don't ever write down, so I can't ever remember exactly how much it makes. So I always have a small pan and a large one. That way nothing goes to waste and we're not sitting there going, oh man, we need another pan.
Or if you have a family member who doesn't like olives, or doesn't like the banana peppers, or doesn't like something,
You can make them their own little serving.
Yeah. And
So
always spray your pan. That's the part I forget.
yeah, we always spray our pans.
Well,
I always spray the pans. Sometimes Sarah does it.
Sometimes I forget.
So sometimes I say, did you spray the pan? As I'm sitting there scrubbing until my arm's falling out. It's like, honey, did you spray this pan?
And I'm like,
before
yes.
you cook? Yeah.
Yeah.
You did? Wow.
I did.
Okay, Sarah just drained her pasta at 6:16. That was 5 minutes in there. So this is getting really ready to come together. We have our ricotta in our bag. Now think of ricotta. Well, probably shouldn't think of it like me. But ricotta's kind of like me in that it likes a good massage. So you come in here and you put your ricotta in your bag, and I'm going to show you how this helps. You normally, when you put this in there, it clumps up like crazy. So come in here, give it a little massage in your bag, flatten that out a little bit, push it back down to the bottom. Basically, you just want to, it's warming it up slightly. It's making it a little more pliable for use. So then take one of your far corners, not one of your corners that you zipped with, because the whole top will come off of it. We're going to pipe this like we would cake batter, something like that. It makes it a whole lot easier to do if we do this. So all you need to do is clip off one of your corners.
There was scissors in there.
I know, for the first time in forever, we actually
scissors.
found a pair of scissors where they should be. So we get this out of the way.
Today.
I know. It's a Wednesday, huh?
Yeah.
It's hump day.
Yes.
So Sarah's meat is basically almost ready. Now, we talked a minute ago about people's lasagna being way too wet. You'll notice just in the amount of time that we cook this, how much, I mean, some of that's fat, some of this is the juices off of the onions and the peppers as they're cooking out. So if you take this right now and you put that in the pot, or put that in the pan and you layer it, it's going to come out literally like water. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to really drain that well. Again, in normal times, we do this in a paper towel. And I would just push this to the side, make some room in that pan, and we'd take a paper towel, we'd lean the pan over, and we'd soak all that out of there. You know what? We're still going to do that. Let me set this camera down. See if we can see something here. Because that's the way I always do it. And you know what? I'm not changing. Not for no virus. So we put this paper towel in here. Now be really careful. I'm assuming people can see this. Be really careful if you're doing this that you don't end up burning yourself. What you want to do is turn off your flame, then lean your skillet and have your paper towel to soak all this up. Now the other thing you need is someplace to put your paper towel whenever you do this. Let me grab this right here. So you want to press this down, lean your pan to turn it all down here. Let this soak up as much as you safely can without burning yourself. Put it into a reservoir, whether that's a little bowl or whatever you've got. Now, of course, I don't have a spoon, and I'm going to show you how to do the rest of this. We try and take off the... I can't find a spoon anywhere. We try and take out the majority of it then the rest of it, we're just going to put right on top of this. We had our can from our ricotta. We could have used our can from our black olives. So we push this back. We get as much of this off as we can. Because again, we don't want this to be really wet when this is all done. There's going to be enough from the sauces. We don't need a bunch of water and a bunch of grease and all that in it. So we're going to keep on going. Keep this tilted, and you can see what little's in there now is just running out, and I'm scooping it as it does. So you can kind of push this up here a little bit to release what's left in it. Scoop out that last little bit. And now it's all going to come together. So,
all right, I'm going to come over and show the pasta here. You can tell by looking at the pasta, it's not completely cooked. I mean, it's maybe half cooked. It still has a pretty good texture to it. And the reason being is for the same reason, is that you want that pasta to finish cooking in the oven and use it to kind of thicken everything. So the pasta is going to soak up the sauce, and it's going to soak up any of those extra juices, so you don't end up with a super runny batch of lasagna.
So our daughter loves pink sauce.
Yes.
Now, I am going to go ahead and just throw in a couple of pepper flakes.
A couple.
Because I like a little spices. We have our jar of red sauce. This can be any sauce. Literally buy the cheapest jar of sauce you can find for this recipe. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. We have a jar of Alfredo sauce. Now, we could eventually do a video where we showed how to make homemade pasta sauce, which we do sometimes, especially on a Sunday when you've got tons of time. And we could show how you can make a homemade Alfredo sauce, and you can mix the two of those together, and it's incredible. For this recipe, this is a weeknight recipe. And under normal conditions, when you're trying to get home and get a meal on the table and you think there's no way I can do lasagna because it takes too long, we're going to show right now how this comes together. It's absolutely delicious. Mix in your red and your white, come out with this beautiful pink sauce with all this meat in it and these vegetables. Now watch how easy and quickly, and your kids, by the way, are going to love this, but watch how easily and quickly this recipe comes together. Everybody's going to love this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring that back over there. Set it down. The first thing we want to do to make this all come together is start with a layer of meat. So go in here. This will probably be roughly a third of our meat. Always start with meat, because if you put your pasta in on the bottom, it burns and it sticks to everything inside. If you put your cheese in there first, it's the exact same thing. So put your meat in there. I'll give it one more scoop. Then we come in here with some of this pasta. Now, I'm just going to make a little bowl full of pasta here. And this is how you save so much time and energy over making a standard lasagna. You simply toss this in here, like so, and you just make a little layer. Can they see that good?
Yeah.
Okay, you just make your little layer. It's that simple. We come in here with our black olives. Drop some of these bad boys in here. I'm only going to do, you know what Eden doesn't like? What doesn't she like?
She didn't want peppers or olives.
Peppers or olives?
Or were you going to do the little
I'm
pan?
going to do the little pan.
Okay.
So I'll show you, this is another great little way here that you could do this for your kids who might be a little picky and who might not like something. You can make, will you spin some into that small pan there for us?
Sure.
So we lay down our black olive. Eden doesn't like the banana peppers or the black olives. I thought she said pepperoni. Anyway, whatever.
She's gonna do what she gets.
So then you come in here with your banana peppers, make you a nice little layer, and hopefully everybody can see how easy this is coming together. All we're doing is just drop. There's no rhyme or reason to this as long as it's not all in one big pile. So we take our paper towels, we set those aside. Now, the thing about lasagna that needs to be spot on is the cheese. So we took our ricotta earlier, we massaged it Oh, I thought you was going to massage me. Wow, I was
that's
doing
so
it.
sweet.
Yeah. So we're going to pipe this into here so it's nice and even. Keeps it from being all clumped up.
Wow, I've never done this, honey. I'm learning something this evening.
Well, baby, I tend to be a little bit of a rebel. I like to consider myself a teacher while at the same time being a bit of a rebel.
Yeah.
So just press that down. And you'll notice this comes out really nicely into here. And as it heats up and it starts to melt and spread out, it spreads out real nice and even, rather than if you have just big chunks of ricotta in some of it and then none in some of the other. So, you want to give that a go?
Sure.
Give that a little run. Okay, so that did not go good. Do not squeeze those paper towels. Whatever you do. Come back in here after we've squeezed the ricotta. Let's lay a little more meat right over the top of that. Save about a third of your meat. We're going to get to that in just a second. So I'll put a little meat over Edie's. Okay, we kind of spread that around just a little bit so everything's got some coverage. We'll take another layer of our pasta. You want to do hers?
Sure.
Now, at this point, you should be getting pretty much ready to run out of pasta, I would think. Usually about a box is going to get you to about where we're at right now. So just make you another layer. Sprinkle that on there like so. Now's when you come in with your mozzarella or your piece of cheese or whatever you want. We're going to come in here, we're going to put a layer. Don't skimp on your cheese. You know, this may be a low budget operation, but we still don't skimp on our cheese. No one loves you if you skimp on your cheese.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you literally will just, no one will love you. Your dog won't even love you if you skimp on your cheese. So give that a good layer. Can we see all that real good?
Yeah.
Now what we want to do is, we want to come back with our pepperonis. I found these in the fridge. These are probably perfectly fine. I doubt these have been in there for more than 6 months.
Oh my.
Maybe 8, max. They have a year shelf life.
Full of it.
So, we're good. We're probably good by a pretty vast margin, really. Spread your pepperonis right over the top of this. We've got a few normal ones that are only 4 months old. So these I know are good. Fill these in. You want to do some on hers?
Sure.
Just fill in your gaps. Don't skimp on your pepperonis either. Kids love pepperonis. Except for when they only eat cheese pizza. Ugh. Don't even get me started on that. That's just toast with cheese. Okay. Make your nice layer of pepperonis across the top of that. Boy, we're gonna pull this off in the time frame that we set. Give us a few more, because there's a lot of meat lovers out there. It's getting ready to be a meat shortage, so probably go ahead and just get everybody's fill of it right now in this one dish. We come back with our meat. We're gonna have a little pasta left over, that's fine.
Put it in a Tupperware, save it for tomorrow.
Save it for later. Sprinkle this meat over the top here. Let me give her some. Again, we started our oven, we cooked our meat, we parboiled our pasta just slightly. Now we're in here, we're putting our meat, we've just layered, we started with a layer of meat, always start with a layer of meat. Then we went pasta, then we put our ricotta, our black olives, and our banana peppers. Okay, just kind of give that a little spread around there like that. This is going to be outstanding. I can tell you already, this is going to be outstanding.
I always push mine down a little bit. That's what I do.
Oh, behave. Okay, so. See, this is not one of those shows where somebody's behind us cleaning up. We just got a big old mess going on over there. And it's fine, because that's cooking. Cooking is making a mess. Now, we talk about pizza blend, Italian blend, mozzarella, whatever you want. Give this a good top layer of cheese. Now, if you're going to make this recipe today, and you're going to cook it tomorrow, which is fine, It works out fine.
It does.
Tomorrow, you're going to need to cover this dish when you put it in the oven, because your cheese on top is going to cook far quicker than the middle warms up. This is already warm because we just cooked it. We just cooked our sauce. We just cooked our noodles, so everything in here is warm. So we're not going to cover these. Now, this is the first show that we've done. That we're not going to show you the end of this because we're going to put these in the oven, and it's going to take about 20-25 minutes. So hopefully you kept up. You threw yours together. If you were a little bit behind because your water wasn't boiling like ours was, that's okay. Meat, onions, peppers, pasta. Add in, drain it off really good. Add in your red sauce, your white sauce. Layer it. Meat first, pasta, black olives, banana peppers, ricotta. Pipe the ricotta. Makes it a lot nicer in your dish. Another layer of pasta, cheese, pepperoni, another layer of meat, cheese on top. This is going to be outstanding.
It is.
We're going to pop these in there. We will post a picture of these when we take them out in the comments.
How long are they going to cook for?
They're going to cook for about 20 minutes. If you're getting ready to pop them in here right now, it's going to take 20-25 minutes on 350. We just made a deconstructed lasagna from beginning to end in 31 minutes. And I showed off my skinny jeans part of that. So you can do this in 25 minutes, guaranteed. This is going to be outstanding. Cook this for about 25 minutes. I'm going to drop a little hint right now. Our next episode is going to be off the charts. I'm going to be the sous chef. Sarah's going to be the main chef. Some people have asked us for this next recipe recently. Trust me, you're going to love this. We're going to post the recipe for that on Friday to give everybody a few more days extra time to get the ingredients for it.
Yes.
As much as this is off the charts because it is, the next one's going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, pop these in the oven, 20-25 minutes. This is going to be outstanding. We hope you enjoyed this. A lasagna in 28 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. You got to be kidding.
Great.
Hope everyone enjoyed it.